If you drive people, that's going to give productivity, and it's the exact opposite.
And it's actually proven now. Like this is not us just talking. Maybe 10 or 20 years ago, people were starting to say these things, and those leaders would look at that as woo-woo, or, like, we're here to work, that sort of attitude. Well, that attitude has completely shifted. The other part of it is that the people coming into the workplace right now, this new generation of people coming into the workplace, they're not going to accept your baloney about drive. That
Right.
isn't the same. So if you want to be a successful leader with a successful business, you have to shift your ideals along the way to meet what is there.
Welcome to Soulgineering, Your Life and Work. I'm Ravi Tangri, and this is about how do you find those tiny little pressure points, those leverage points that allow you to bring more of your heart, more of your soul into all of your life, into your work, into your play, into your community, your family, everything that you do. And today, our special guest is Robin O'Grady, who's a professional speaker and consultant who's focused on corporate culture, on wellness, and she's dedicated to empowering organizations to achieve sustainable wellness goals, leading to a sustainable culture. Welcome, Robin.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be here.
It's just going to be fun. So tell me, Robin, let's start off with how you came to work in this arena of wellness and corporate culture, because it's something I dance with as well. Especially now with the labor shortage, we have to create cultures that are supportive of our people. It's so critical. What brought you to this arena?
Well, obviously, I've been a working person for a very, very long time, well over 30, 35 years. And the majority of that time has been in a customer service base. But the last part of that career time for me before this was in the fitness world. And I went to a conference in the fitness world, and I was speaking at many conferences in that world for a long time. One of the sessions that I went to had some statistics that were really disturbing for me about the work that we were doing and the impact that it was having. And I was really sort of, as someone who'd sort of put their life into that, I felt quite upset that this work and all of the things that we thought we were seeing every day wasn't really translating in the statistics. And I realized that this whole time I had been living with and preaching to the choir. And I needed to step outside of my own industry so that I could work with people who actually needed the work. Because the people who are already there are already there. They don't need that assistance. And so coming from a space of being in many, many workplaces and working in many, many types of workspaces, both positive and negative, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then bringing in that fitness world knowledge that I had spent all of this time gaining, I decided that it was time for me to make a shift. And so that shift happened. Part of that is what brought me into the CAPS community, which we are both part of, and being in that pressure point of seeing what was actually happening in the workplace and what the need was. And then knowing that that's my specialty and that's what I do. So I have an operations background. I have the fitness and wellness background. I decided to take both of those and merge them together and create this new business, which is what is my company now.
Wonderful. Now, one of the things that's a challenge is the baby boomers especially built corporate cultures that were workaholics. That was of workaholicism.
I'm part of that. I'm part of that.
Yeah. And a lot of that still carries through. We know intellectually wellness is important. There's so much information, so much data, but we're pulled 1,000 different directions, not just work, but with home, community, and for those in a leadership role, the people who report to you are demanding so much. It seems impossible to do. Like, the wellness seems so hard to do. We know we should, but where do we even start? Why is it so hard?
Yeah. This is really a big part of what I do with individuals as well. So individuals and with workplaces is we need to step outside of and go back to the basics. So we need to pull away from the social pressures of what wellness is. We need to stop thinking about what all of these amazing, albeit marketing people, are putting in front of us and really just step back and say, what's good for me and only me? And so when I do work with the workplaces, I start with the leaders first. We have to think about what are you doing for yourself? And a lot of that sort of hypocrisy comes in leadership bringing in a wellness program when they are not taking care of their own wellness. And that states back to what you just said in that sort of boomer Gen X workaholic tendency. In a lot of spaces, those are the high level leaders that these people are supposed to be looking up to, but they're not really talking or walking the talk. They're just
Right.
saying, "Oh yeah, here's the wellness program. Put it on a website." And it's all very broad in definition and saying, "Oh yeah, yeah, this," but there is no personality to it. There's no simplification of it. It starts really just with you. If we talk about, say, nutrition for an example, if you eat ice cream and it upsets your stomach, well, that's an indication that maybe you, just you, shouldn't eat ice cream. Okay, cool. Let's think about what does that mean for you and just take that one item, one thing and say, I'm going to shift that one thing. Just take it one small step at a time. Stop trying to create and change the entire world in one step. It's not going to happen. If you go back to basic goal setting, the SMART rules, we all
Mm-hmm.
know that. If we go back to just the very basics of that, we have to be realistic. We have to make it achievable. We have to stop trying to do all the things all the time. Just pick one thing, give that your attention, and then move forward with that. So for some people, that might be adding a grounding ritual. For some people, that might be changing one dietary item. For some people, that might be going on a walk once a week, which they weren't doing before. Everything that you do that's different is a positive step forward. We're too in need of quick change and do all the things. And that's where that workaholic tendency comes. We need to stop. We need to pull back from that and realize that the small changes are really the most impactful.
So that's fascinating that we're actually trying to be workaholics at doing wellness, is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
we
You're
do.
trying to do it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I hadn't thought
There's
of it.
there's
Well,
things that come out of it. You hear about weekend warriors. You
mm-hmm.
hear that's what that is. That's what that is.
Wow, I hadn't thought of it that way. And there's so much that you talked about. Like, it absolutely has to, if you're shifting culture, it has to start with the leaders because 70% of culture is shaped by leadership.
Right.
And and you're right. A
Yeah.
lot of leaders treat it as, oh, there's a box. You can check that box.
Yes.
We've got the program where we've done it, but they're not living it. So,
And then they turn around, Ravi, and they say, "Well, it didn't work."
right.
You know. So,
So let's take it on a personal level. Like for you're talking about pick one thing, but there's also a lot of inertia that you're overcoming, right? Because I believe, when we are in that stress mode, we're generating all these toxic chemicals and hormones continuously, and they continue. And I think my belief is we become addicted to that. So there's an
absolutely.
addiction factor to overcome. And then what people do is you talked about ice cream. Their way to burn out they either go, and then they just sit on the couch and binge for hours with a cup of Haagen-Dazs and until they get exhausted. But that's not productive either. So when there's all of these things going, how, even for that one habit, can people start to change the behavior? Because if they don't do it, often people beat themselves up.
Yeah, for the general population, maybe it begins with understanding and some clarity on what exactly is happening, what you just said. All of the things that they're doing right now has such a heightened cortisol through their system and in their body. And that is creating worse habits because the average person, this is one of the stats that I heard at this talk. The average person drives for an hour to and from work. Okay. So that's 2 hours a day. This is the average person.
Okay.
They work for 8 on average. Obviously, some work a lot more, some work less, but on average, we'll call it 8. So now we have 10 hours of our day gone. We sleep for another 7 or 8 if we're lucky. And we won't say that that's a good sleep, but we lie in bed
Right.
for 7 or 8 hours. We're not claiming it's all good, but that's what's happening. So now most of our day is gone. Where the stressors are now is that because of all of the stress that they're dealing with, the lack of sleep, the hard work that they're doing, maybe the hatred of their job, these sorts of things that are happening in them. So their cortisol is just rising and rising and rising and rising. And we have unhealthy dopamine hits in things like TikTok and YouTube and these short little bursts of dopamine, which is not helping the cortisol at all. In fact, it's probably worsening that situation. So when they come home, like you said, they crash. It's an absolute crash at the end of the day. So the average person, 4 hours of television a night.
Wow.
That's a lot. But I also understand that by the time they get to the end of the night, they really just don't feel like they could possibly do anything else anyway. It is recovery for them, but it's not a healthy cycle in the whole. So if we can examine it if we can pull back and step outside of the tornado that is our day to day, if we're looking at sustainability, we have to be able to, as the leader of the workplace or as the individual in your life, you have to be able to step outside of the tornado to see what's going on in the tornado.
Right.
And so
that's what I'm asking you. What are specific strategies to step out?
Yeah. So that education of knowledge, that knowledge of knowing that needs to happen is actually the first step. The first step is the acceptance something has to change.
Okay.
And it would be nice if that could happen before an emergency, right? Lots of people wait for the emergency. So I'm encouraging you not.
Yes.
So maybe it is listening to you and I talk right now. The problem or the challenge for people like us who are trying to affect change on people is we can't really help you with the first step. You have to come to it and say, something has to change. And the moment that you do that, now you can take practical steps, like choosing a moment. For example, I wake up in the morning and I talk about this all the time. If you know me, you've heard this before. I wake up in the morning, I put 2 feet on the ground and I drink water because hydration is non-negotiable. So I ground myself and I start my day with something that's really healthy for me. I just drink water. It's not hard. The hard part is actually making sure that it's on your bedstand the night before, but 2 feet on the ground. I just sit there for a minute, 60 seconds. That's step 1. So I'm beginning my day in a state of low cortisol.
So you're not immediately stressing over all that's got to happen.
I don't touch my phone. I don't start talking to anybody. If you know my husband, you can ask him if I talk to him in the first half hour of getting up. I don't. I talk to nobody. I sit for my 1 minute. I drink my water. I get up and then I go to the bathroom and, do those sorts of things. And then I start the process of what is my morning routine. So have a shower, put the makeup on, do the hair. I do all of that before I do anything else. And so for me, that grounds me and sets me on a good footprint for my day. I do listen to things like I like noise. So I have things playing in the background once I'm up. So once I start moving, then I might turn a video on or I might turn a podcast on or something. So it's very nonsensical. It's not important things. And I just have that running in the background because my brain likes noise. For some of you, that might be the opposite. You might need absolute quiet.
Right.
You have to really think about what is right for you. You can't do what I do. I do what I do because it works for me. You have to really come to what's right for you and stop thinking about What did Robin say? What did Ravi say? What did this person say? What diet should I go on? My trainer told me this. My chiropractor told me that. My athletic therapist told me this. My acupuncture said this. My doctor told me that. It's overwhelming. No wonder we're not doing anything. It's too many steps. Just stop. Stop everything and think about what is one thing you could do in your morning that could actually just start you off on a good day. Just
And
one.
think a big thing is what you said about don't go to phone. So many people have the phone at the
Mm,
bedside. Just that one thing of charging the phone in another room.
yeah. My phone is there because my alarm is on it, but I am committed to my routine, right? So I've made the decision that that's not going to happen, and so I do. Right. But you're right. For some people, they don't have that sort of, let's call it willpower. And so in that case, yeah, get it out of there. Put it somewhere else. Put it in the bathroom so that you can't look at it until you're already moving.
Right. And
Right.
also that takes away the doom scrolling before you go to bed because you
Yeah.
can't sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so funny because we know, like, you're so smart out there, people. You know that doom scrolling is not good for you before bed. You're fully aware that hydration is important. You know that that chocolate bar is not better than the carrot. Like, it's not that we don't understand these things. We do know it. But at some point, we have to make a commitment to caring for the one body that we have. We just have to decide. And then if you bring that back to the companies, as a leader, you just have to decide that the health and wellness of your employees is important to you. And it doesn't have to be just because it's important to you in your heart. It's also important to your bottom line. If
Totally.
I can show you those stats too. When it comes to your workplace, if you want healthy bottom line, take care of those people. And then they will take care of your business. Period. It's so simple, it's silly.
Yeah, absolutely. And yet we live under these delusions. I don't call them illusions, delusions
Yeah.
that, if you drive people, that's going to give productivity. And it's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it's actually proven now. Like this is not us just talking. Maybe 10 or 20 years ago, people were starting to say these things and those leaders would look at that as woo woo or like we're here to work, that sort of attitude. Well, that attitude has completely shifted. The other part of it is that the people coming into the workplace right now, this new generation of people coming into the workplace, they're not going to accept your baloney about drive. That
right.
isn't the same. So if you want to be a successful leader with a successful business, you have to shift your ideals along the way to meet what is there. And if you're not going to do
Yeah.
that, your business is not going to survive.
Well, I've also found, I don't know if you've noticed this, that since the pandemic, it woke up a lot of the baby boomers and Gen X who suddenly had to stop. They had to
Yeah.
stop. And they're suddenly realizing, why am I running like a squirrel in a cage? And that's
Yeah.
why we've had the, mass exodus from organizations.
Absolutely. And I love to surround myself by, I was just talking about this with somebody yesterday, the Gen Zs, they are so brilliant and they have so much to offer us
Hmm.
in education or teaching us about how to better take care of ourselves and to advocate for ourselves. They're so good at that. And so I love to surround myself with them and listen to them and hear from them and try to learn from them and hopefully also impart some things on them, but who knows. But in the end, they really have seen their parents run themselves into the ground over and over and over again, and they look at that and they say, that's dumb.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
And the thing is, they will work hard if you help them align what they're doing with what they're passionate about. They're not going to be workaholics, but they get slandered for being lazy and whatever, but it's because they won't just work just for the sake of it. You need to do real leadership, real coaching, and connect
Yeah.
them with what they're passionate about.
Exactly. The last team that I worked with was primarily Gen Zs. And I can tell you that in my career, I've had some amazing teams,
Hmm.
amazing teams. This was one of the best that I've ever had.
but you were engaged with them,
Yeah.
focused on what was important to them and helped them align with that, with their
Exactly,
work.
exactly. And I treated them like adults. I was at the director level and I had some managers underneath me and some of those managers would push back on me. And they would say because it's a customer service base. So anybody who's worked in customer service or who knows customer service knows that the scheduling is a little bit fast and loose sometimes.
Hmm.
And it's really difficult for people to have a personal life because their schedule is all over the place. So one of the things that I implemented is that you have your schedule and that's your schedule. So if you work 9 to 5, you work 9 to 5. If you work, we were 24 hours in this facility. So if you work the night shift, you always work the night shift. And so every employee knew I work Mondays 5 to 8. I work Tuesday. Like they knew exactly what their schedule was. And then of course there's small adjustments when people need time off and things like that. So we help each other and we commit to each other, myself included, to working out those shifts when people need time off. And they absolutely loved the idea that they could have a regular schedule. And these are just kids, 19, 20, 20 up to 25, I guess. And I would have the managers push back and say, no, that's not how it works. You just schedule them, and whenever. Or if somebody, say Ravi's taking Friday off, just put so and so on there. And I would say, hold on, let's call so and so and just see if they're available. Let's treat them like adults. They're adults.
Yeah.
So I don't know
God
why we're
forbid.
just, and so they would say, that's not how it works. And I would say, well, that's how it works under me. So we are going to try this a different way. And they were so grateful just for that small bit of respect offered to them to say, are you available to cover this shift for me? Can you help? Versus, oh, I put you on. And
Right.
it's such a small, easy thing to do for them. And because of that, they would go to the ends of the earth for me.
You see, I think in organizations, they use I hate it because it's become a buzzword. They say, oh yeah, we're empowered, but this is practicing empowered instead of talking about it.
Totally.
And
Totally. And it's very small details, little things. The other thing in the workplace that leaders falter on is that they make those decisions about the wellness within their company in the boardroom. They forget to actually converse with their teams at
right,
all levels, not just the middle managers. You need to talk to all levels to see what wellness means to them, because that is where maybe you're saying earlier it feels difficult, because what it means to Robin and what it means to Ravi and what it means to so and so and so and so and so and so could be a different thing. But if you know what it means to all of those people, then you can create a well-rounded wellness program that is sustainable long term.
right. Or I'm biased in helping them co-create it themselves. You don't build it for them, you let them create it.
Exactly.
So you said the first step is that awareness that this is important, and that's a huge thing. And you're right. It's often that comes with a crisis, but ideally you can get there. From that point, finding something that works for you as that first step, what is the best way for people to achieve these type of goals so that they don't just set the goal and set themselves up for failure?
Yeah. I'm a big fan of accountability partners. I think that can be really, really helpful for most people to have just someone else who's going to say, how's that going? But
Hmm.
you have to choose the right person. And so maybe you hire someone like you or someone like me to come in and hold you accountable to it. And that person is now being paid to do that. So they are for sure going to do a good job, or hopefully they're going to do a good
Yep.
job if you find the right person. But you don't always need to throw money at it. You can also find, in our world, each of us has sort of, I always say we have 4 friends. We have the friend that you can cry with, that you can, cry on their shoulder. They will accept you as a whole person and let all your emotions out. You
Hmm.
have your ride or die. So this is the person that you call at 3 a.m. with a pitchfork, and no matter what, you are right. And so, if you're mad at somebody, they are also mad at that person, even if they've never met them before, so you
Yeah.
have that person. And then you've got your accountability partner. And your accountability person is sometimes the person that you avoid when you need them the most, because you know that they're going to hold you accountable. You know that they're going to call you out on your own. And so you sometimes don't reach out to that person because you're trying to hide from that call out.
Right.
So when you've made the decision, okay, I want to do this, let's let that person into this, because you know that person is going to be the one. And so in a lot of friendships, I'm the accountability partner, and that might not surprise anybody on here, but
Mm-hmm.
lots of people use me for that. But also lots of people avoid me for that because they don't want to hear it from me. So my lesson is to make sure I only give it when it's being asked. And so, uh, and then you have your sort of acquaintance people, and so you have all of those sort of outside people that are not part of your inner circle. Those are good people to have in your world too. But that accountability friend, when you really are trying to achieve something, you need that person. And so let them know and tell them, I need you to hold me accountable. I need you to call me out. I need this from you right now, even if I get mad at you. And that person will do it for you. There's lots of them in every friend group. You just have to allow them to do what the thing that they love to do, which is hold you accountable.
Right. Now, those first three, can there be overlap, or do you think they should be distinct people?
No, sometimes one person is all of those.
Okay, that's my thought too.
Totally.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
totally. Sometimes one person is all of those things, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
If you've got that person, that's the one that
Yeah.
you.
It's the unicorn. So if you
Mm-hmm.
have the unicorn, then that's wonderful. Not everybody does, though. So sometimes you have to piece out in your friend group and figure out which is which.
Right. But they've got to be able to know, for example, what you call the ride or die. I call that my venting buddy, where it's just,
Yeah.
you just vent. But then they've got to know when it's a venting time or when they have to challenge you as you're not really seeing things here.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a mentor who was a really good accountability person, but not a good vent friend. And so she was very good for me in a lot of ways. But there were times where I was like, no, I just need to vent. And she would always come back with, well, what could you have done better? And I would
Right.
say, no, I just want to vent. So I had to find a different person, right? Which is my sister. So for me, I can call my sister and I can tell her anything about anybody, anytime, anywhere. And she will say, yeah. And so she will let me, and so yeah, sometimes it is the same person, but sometimes it's not. And you're right. If it is the same person, this is the time when you have to say to them at the beginning, this is what I need from you on this.
Right. And the thing is, it's so important, I think, to the wellness as well, to have that vending buddy, that ride or die,
Yeah.
as you call it.
Yeah. And listen, if you're sitting it around for individuals, I'm talking to individuals now.
Hmm.
If you're sitting around and parts of your day are just like, I feel horrible, or I'm so tired, or I can't do this anymore. If those types of things are going through your mind, it's time to just stop everything just for a second, and say, I can do better. And
Hmm.
then take that acceptance of that into yourself. Once you've decided that, it's much easier to take those steps. But you just have to commit and say, this is dumb. Why am I going through every day unhappy, miserable, cranky? People ask me how I can do all the things that I do. It's because I only choose to do the things that I want to do. Because I've come to a space in my world where taking care of me matters. And
Absolutely.
that is something that's really difficult for some people to come to. And so sometimes you need, so if you can reach out to me anytime. If you need somebody to just tell you to do it, I'll tell you to do it. But in the end, it has to be you first. So that decision has to be made from you first.
Mm. And I'd say it's more than a decision. What I'm hearing from you is is that it's a non-negotiable. It's come to that point.
It is. Yeah. And let's not wait for the emergency.
Yeah, I like that. So assume that if people can get to the point where they go, yes, I know I have to do this, that first step, What is your advice for their best next step after hearing this? If they're realizing, yeah, I need to do something, the simple next step once they know that they do.
Yeah, once you know that something has to change, I would say the next step for you is a little bit dependent on the what, right? So for some of you, it might be I never sleep. I'm not getting any sleep whatsoever. This is not something that you should just accept, right? And I think part of it too is that we think, oh, I'm getting older, therefore I ache.
Mm-mm.
I'm getting older, therefore I can't sleep. I'm getting older, therefore this is actually not, this is not fact. This is not fact. Getting older doesn't mean that those things happen. Those things happen because of overuse, repetitive use. There's lots of other stress levels, all of those different reasons.
Totally.
So the what is your first step. So now you're saying, I need something to change. Well, what? So if it is sleep, if it is fitness, if it is nutrition, if it is, then first step, find someone who specializes in that thing and give them a call.
I
If
love
you
that.
if you have a wrist that's hurt for 10 years, let's get to a physio. Let's deal with that now. If you never sleep, let's find a sleep practitioner. If you or an acupuncturist or something in that field. If nutrition is a thing, let's find a registered dietitian. If you need to exercise, let's go and chat with someone about that, what that looks like for you. And I would love for you to come to me first because I'm not telling you to go to the gym. Understand that. I'm not telling you to go to the gym because some of you, it's like, I don't want to go to the gym. Don't go to the gym. Go to a dance class. Do something else, but choose something and then go do something that is fun for you, that you like, and just do it for a little while, just that one thing. But
Yeah.
please only pick one thing first and then drive all your energy to that one thing. So that's the first step. Pick one thing and then put all your energy into getting that one thing done.
Don't be a workaholic on wellness.
Don't be a workaholic on wellness. You can't. It took me 50 years to realize you can't do everything. So stop trying.
And I love that you said about do what you love because I love dance.
Yeah, I said
I'm
dance on
heading out.
purpose.
Yeah, I'm heading out for salsa dancing tonight on the waterfront. But it's I've tried the gym. I've tried running. It's like bores the living daylights out of me.
Yeah.
And if I go to dance, it does not feel like exercise, and it's just joy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've done like more steps than I ever would run. So
Totally.
it's
Totally.
to find that in what you're doing. Find something that is the joy for you, right? That's what you're talking about.
Yes, you have to. You have to. For some people, it's being outside. Okay, go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Off you go. Instead, for some people, they don't want to go outside. Okay, let's find something else then. Maybe take a class somewhere or, go do some badminton or get on your bike. Try something that you think that you will enjoy. Think about the things you loved to do when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Go back to one of those things.
Stop growing up.
Stop growing up. Heck yeah. I love that. Yes. Be a
Okay.
child.
Yes.
Check it out, check it out. Oh, are you ready for this?
So you have a very special offer for the listeners, and we're going to come to that. But first, to wrap things up, we are going on to the lightning round.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. So no thinking aloud. First thing that pops to mind. Okay.
Okay.
We'll start it easy. Introvert or extrovert?
Extrovert.
What's the most favorite job you've ever had?
Fitness.
Okay. And specifically, what in that?
Teaching. Classes.
Okay.
Group fitness. Yeah.
Good. What's the goofiest thing you've ever done?
Oh gosh, the goofiest thing. I'm always goofy. So that's kind of a
What
hard
pops
one,
to mind
actually.
first?
Oh my God, goofy. Oh, when I was working in hotels, dressed up as a cigar girl, and I walked around ballroom saying cigars, cigarettes, cigars, cigarettes. That was really
Oh,
fun.
wow. Okay. Not very wellness, but
No, this was a long time ago. That was like 30 years ago.
yeah. What's the best compliment you've ever received?
One time I was told that I was too happy. It was meant as an insult, but I took it as a compliment.
I love that. Oh, I hope you thank them.
I did many times.
Yeah. What's your biggest failure and what did you learn from it?
It's so funny because I don't really look at my world in a perspective like that, where
Mhm.
like I think failure is such a great thing. I think it's such a
Mhm.
positive thing.
I
It's
agree.
such an important part of your growth. And so it's hard for me to think of anything that is like a big failure that I've done. Oh my gosh. I would say not coming back to my own business sooner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I always thought I would be a teacher,
And you are?
and I am. Yeah.
What's your most important ritual? Perhaps you've shared it already.
I did. Yeah. So I implement grounding rituals throughout my day. I have a couple others that I use. I know this is not necessarily going to be on video, but I use pressure points throughout my day as well. Yeah.
Very cool. Who do you admire?
Mm. I admire humans. I do. I think that humans are so amazing, and there's so many people that I look up to and that I think are just incredible. And I just love watching the human spirit. So I am an admirer of human nature.
Oh. How do you nourish yourself?
I put that in perspective of mind, body, and soul. So I think of it as three buckets, and I work to fill all three of those buckets. So dance is part of it for me as well, as you know. I love to do aerials, which is all part of the physical, and like it all provides all three of those buckets, right? Mind, body, and soul are filled
Absolutely.
with those two things by all three of those. Yeah, yeah.
What do you want to be remembered for?
My daily goal is to make sure that everybody that comes in contact with me every single day leaves feeling heightened and better than they did before they saw me.
I can see that. And finally, what's your purpose in life?
That's my purpose. Yeah, it's the same thing. That is my purpose. My purpose is to better the lives of everybody around me.
Very cool. That's wonderful. See, it wasn't that hard.
Okay, it was okay. It was okay.
And now, Robin, you have a very special offer for people who are maybe struggling or wondering about the goals that they can set. Can you share a bit
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, I want to share with all the listeners a 30-minute coaching session with me. And it would be sort of this thing that we've been talking about is let's find your acceptance moment. Let's get together and I'll just guide you to the space where you can say, okay, it's time. I'm ready. And then we can make some really good plans about what steps you should take next. So, I said pick the one thing. I'll help you come to what is that one thing. So I'll help you find that.
I love that. So if people have been trying and failing and not setting workaholic goals on wellness and not getting there, this is to help them get to, okay, this is why it's important. And then what's the one step,
What's
step?
the one step? Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And the best way for them to reach you to access this is to email you?
Yes, you can email me, connect@robinspeaks, that's Robin with an I, .ca. connect@robinspeaks.ca.
So, Robin, thank you so much for your time. Absolutely love the wealth of information that you've shared. And the thing I love, it's the simplicity of it. And thank you for that perspective. I had never thought about how we workaholic wellness, and that sets us up for failure.
Yeah, keep it simple, Stanley.
Or other name, as you will. So thank you again so very much. And thank you to all of our listeners. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Ravi Tangri, and we will see you next week on Soulgineering Your Life and Work.
I got the